This is going to be exciting. I have to say, I did get regrets from people saying that they are really bummed that they're going to miss this, but they're excited for the recording. And I am going to keep a lookout and see if anybody's trying to get on over here in the meantime. But yeah, we've got a couple of minutes. I think we have Kaya here and Caden here, and I think Richard's here too. But we'll give it a couple of minutes for more people to join, because I know more people have said that they're very excited and they're going to be here. Hey Kaya, how are you? I want to introduce you to my friend Danny. He's in London.
Wow, London. Hello, Danny.
Hi. Doesn't it look nice, Kathy? The River Thames behind me.
That looks like the Caribbean to me. Beautiful. Whatever we can imagine exists, right?
Exactly. And there's Richard. Richard, where are you? Oh, you're muted.
Unmute myself. I'm right next door to Dan, literally in the next door apartment.
Oh my word. Can you remind me what the name of that is? That near the American Embassy where you are? I've Googled
well,
Earth.
near north of the
It's
river.
nearer than you are.
Michael was recently in London, and I've done a virtual tour of Danny's neighborhood. I don't know if he knows it or not, but for some reason I thought it was around there. But it's lovely. I've virtually been to your neighborhood, Richard.
It's a
So
very
what is the
pleasant
weather? Yes, I see. I can see the beach right nearby.
I would guess it's about 68 degrees. In
That
Fahrenheit.
sounds okay. Let's see. We've got people that say they're going to be here, so they may be. We'll give them a couple more minutes, and let's see. He looks like he's in. Caden looks like he's in southern Utah, but I think he's in Minnesota. Let's see. We've got Pear. Pear is here. I have no idea where Pear is.
He's in Norway, I think, or Finland or somewhere. Hey, does Caden have a Minnesota accent? I really love the Minnesota accent. Okay.
No, I do not, but I can pull off a decent Minnesota accent if you want me to.
Oh, yes, go on.
Let's see, we have Pear. So Kaya has been sitting with us in the morning, which is awesome. And Caden usually sits with us every morning. And we had Marek from Warsaw sitting with us this morning, which was fun. Pear's putting in his ears. Let's see.
Caden, this is Kaya. I'm originally from Wisconsin, very close to you. So love hearing the accent. It's been many years since I've been home.
Okay, Caden has muted.
Nice to meet you all. I actually grew up in Utah, and that's how I met Anna.
Yes, and Caden then moved to New Zealand to study meteorology. And Caden, why are you in Minnesota now?
Currently, I'm attending graduate school.
In graduate school. Here comes Jennifer. Jennifer is in Salt Lake City. Pear, where are you? Are you in Norway?
Yes, yeah. Hi. Yes, still in Norway.
Oh, and here we have Marek is coming. And let's see, I think we're going to have, hey, Jennifer, good to see you. Oh, we have Alejandra.
Hi, Marek.
Hello, hello.
Alejandra, thanks for being here. Uh-oh, you're muted.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me here. It's a pleasure to meet you all.
And where are you?
I'm in Barichara, Colombia, in the Andes Mountains.
Beautiful. Well, thank you for bringing us there with you. And how did you hear about this? Did Danny invite you?
No, Per, because Per is
Pe-
my husband.
I just figured that out. Okay. Well, I'm so happy you're here, and it's so great to finally meet you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. It's exciting for me to be here today. Thank you.
And we have the other Richard is here. Rick in Oregon.
Hello, all. Hello.
Hello. And
Which
I
is
think
the
this
real
is
Richard giving the talk? Which Richard is giving? No, it's not Richard, my neighbor. Richard, are you giving the talk?
Oh, Danny, it's you.
Hi, Alejandra. Hi.
Oh.
Richard, you're not Richard number one next door neighbor. You're not giving the talk today, are you? Are you secretly Rick Lang? I've never met him. Maybe you are.
No, I'm definitely not Rich Lang.
Uh-oh, Danny,
So
do you want to, Danny, can you ping? Or I thought Richard was Rick Lang, but
have you sent
must
him
be
the new
Rick.
link? Have you sent Rick the new link?
So. I think I did. I think I just did. Do you mind checking in with him?
I'm not that much in contact with him. I only emailed him. I don't know him personally.
Okay. I
Um,
don't have any other email. I did email him the link, so he
you
should
did
have it.
the new one.
Yeah. Yes, the new one. And he did pop. He popped on the Zoom like half an hour early, so I thought he was just testing it. And I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
So
Well, are you sure
here.
it was? But Anna, are you sure it was Richard Lang that popped on and not Richard Moore?
It's Richard Lang, and here. Oh, you did? Oh, well, here's Richard Lang now popping on.
Here he is.
Hey. All right, awesome. Well, we have three Richards. This is, hey, hi.
Hi.
Well, welcome, Richard Lang. You are our host today. When you popped on, did it say that it's recording?
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to turn it over to you. Okay, I'm going to give you all the special. Oh, we've got more people popping on. Here comes Petey. Petey's in Salt Lake City. Richard Lang.
Do you want us to say where we're all hanging in from, Richard? Is that useful?
I'd like to hear just from each of you where you're, what you think of the Headless Way, if you know anything about it and where you are. Yeah, so you could start, Daniel, if you want.
Okay, I'm in London by sea. I'm in London. And I think I came across Douglas Harding's books, your prior, was he your mentor? I don't know, your accomplice back in the 80s. And I really loved it. It was really refreshing and quite an antidote to all the Zen books I'd been reading by Alan Watts. And I think I tried a few of his exercises. I think I went to one class. You may have been there in the 80s, 90s. After that, it's a bit of a blur. And then I saw you again a few weeks back on your Saturday Zoom or an evening Zoom, which was great.
Well, I have a meeting once a month in London, Daniel, just free, so you're welcome to come.
Oh,
Next
okay.
Saturday.
Well, maybe
Yeah.
myself and my neighbour would come.
Yes,
Richard.
that'd be
Yeah.
very good. But Anna, you tell me about you and what this group is, and just fill me in.
Okay. I'm going to time myself so I don't talk more than a couple of seconds. I'm Anna. I'm in Salt Lake City, and I've known Danny in London, right on the beach, for 30, probably more than 30 years, maybe 30, going on 35 years. And we've stayed great friends. We consider ourselves the Musketeers. And a couple of years ago, Danny and Oscar, I'm curious why Oscar has stuff to do on Sunday. We started Zooming together, and then it may have been Danny that said, hey, we should do a regular Zoom with and invite other people. And Danny kind of bosses me around. He tells me his great ideas, and then he makes me do which is why the links get all screwed up and everything, because I'm just trying to do what Danny and my husband, who's in the other room. Anyway, so I just try to organize this like herding cats, and it's kind of grown. And Richard, everybody here, Alejandra, Petey, good to see you. Everybody's invited to these events if you're interested. But anyway, okay, so that's me. Danny, I'm going to let you pick somebody else to go next.
Well, and also, did you say you're in Salt Lake City?
Yes, I'm in Salt Lake City.
You did. Okay, I'm just going to go to the next person on the screen, which is Kaya. Kaya? Kaya.
Uh-oh, she's muted. Uh-oh, you're muted. Matter of fact, if everybody can unmute for a couple of minutes that while we do the go around, that'd be awesome. Oh, good, you're unmuted. Oh, you're muted again.
Well, shall I nominate Richard
Yeah.
number 2, Richard Moore, whilst Kaya looks for the unmute?
There, I'm unmuted, right?
Yes.
Hi.
You know anything about this way, Kaya?
I don't, but I love the whole idea. The title is enough for me. I have always felt like I've struggled with my name, and I'm happier with no name, no head. The whole thought is great. So I'm excited to be here.
Thank you very much. Richard,
Yes.
do you know about the Headless Way?
Yes. I actually did a course right before Douglas Harding died in Salisbury years ago, somewhere in the early 2000s. And then I met you. I drove 3 monks from a monastery. I think you might know Semedo.
Oh, yes.
From Semedo. I drove 3 monks down to see Douglas Harding just before he died.
Oh, okay.
And we met, I think, very briefly at that house where he lived.
Yes.
That was, what, 20 years ago?
Almost, yes, almost, yes. Oh, well, nice to see you again.
Okay.
Thank you. Per, I know Per. Yes, hello.
Hello.
Oh, great. Wonderful. Do you want to, do you know people here, Per?
Yes.
You're
I actually know Danny and Anna from Salt Lake City. Yeah, 30 years ago. We were all at the same Zen center at that time.
Very good. All right. Marek?
I'm in Warsaw, Poland, and from the people that are on the screen today, I've met Anna in 2008, I guess. We were attending a Zen event, and apparently Danny was also attending similar events, but we never at least I don't remember we ever being together on a retreat. Anyway, I'm a long time Kanzon member. the name the Headless Way is I haven't heard it. There are similar expressions in my language in Polish. Which one expression is I'm not sure if it's what you mean, because it's like an intense passion, like lose a head for somebody. So this is one expression. The other expression is to do something without giving it consideration. It could be also expressed as doing something headless, but these are the only associations that I have by now, and I'm very curious. Of course, I'm guilty of doing things without giving thought or recklessly. So, if that's what it's meant.
No, I will enlighten you. I will enlighten you. Thank you, Marek. Alejandra?
What is your question?
Do you know anything about the Headless Way?
Yeah, I got the book because my husband gave it to me. And I had thousands of experience about that.
Good. And which country are you in?
Colombia. I am in Colombia, in South America, in the Andes Mountains.
Wonderful. Thank you very much. All
Thank
right.
you, Richard.
Thank you. Admin.
Yeah, admin. My name is Rick or Richard. I'm in Eugene, Oregon. And I'm like a babe in the woods here. I'm learning as I go. The title, Headless Person, or the Headless Way? Is that what it's called? I mean, I totally agree with that. I do my best work when I'm not thinking.
All right. Well, I'm happy to meet you there.
Nice to meet you as well.
And is it Katie or PD or somebody?
Hi, my name is Petey.
PD.
Yeah, I've never heard of the Headless Way, so I'm just here to learn. And I'm living in West Valley City, Utah, which is just outside of Salt Lake.
All right. Thank you very much. Caden? Oh.
Caden, the Warrior Footy, Headless Way, and I'm currently in Minneapolis, Minnesota.
All right. I couldn't tell what you were saying there. All right. Connection was not very good. Jennifer? Jennifer not there. All right. Well, I will just steam ahead. And since some of you have an idea what the Headless Way is, I will enlighten you. And it sounds as though you're kind of, all of you in some way or other, are familiar with spirituality. And what I am going to share with you is a response to the question, what am I? Who am I? Who am I? And the Headless Way is a particular way of responding to this question. So who are you? That's the thing. Who are you? What are you? And this is noticing the difference between what you are for others and what you are for yourself. So what you are for others is what you see in the mirror, what you see on the screen. It's your appearance. That's what you look like at several meters, I suppose. But what are you for yourself at zero? And I would like you to notice, if you're looking at the screen and you can see yourself on the screen, you can see your head. Now, that's what everyone else sees when they look at you. But I don't see my head here, where everyone else sees it. I don't see my head. And I believe you don't see yours. Now, to make this really clear, the Headless Way, we've developed what we call experiments to test this idea. And they are very simple awareness exercises. But a few of them are rather simple, and I'm going to ask you to do one or two of them. And you've just got to relax and be like a child, really. So they don't be embarrassed. But they're about directing your attention to your own point of view. It's just incredibly simple. So I would like you to point at something in front of you just to start with. So you take your finger, this is where you just could be like a child, and you're directing your attention with your fingers. So what a child would do. You look along your finger and you notice what you're pointing at. And I assume it's got color and shape and texture. It's a thing. Incredibly simple. Now point it at your other hand and look down your finger, and you can see your hand, and it's got color and texture and movement and shape. Now point back at where others see your head. And I don't see any color here, or any shape, or any texture, or any movement. You see. And what I say now is that I'm pointing at my true nature, which is not an appearance, you see, like the one I see in the mirror. So here's another way of just bringing your attention to this incredibly simple, obvious thing. Is hold your hands out like this in front of you, if you would, please. So you see a gap between your hands. Now you bring them past either side of your head, but do it slowly, and notice they get bigger, and then keep going, and you notice they get wide apart and then disappear. And I said they've disappeared into the great void, into space, into emptiness. Now you bring your hands forward, and they come out of that nothing, you see, and reappear. And why is this important, you see? Well, for example, if you look at someone on the screen, then normally you would say you're face to face with them, and therefore you're separate from them, and you're up against them, and loggerheads. You'd normally say that. But when I look at someone on the screen now, in my experience, it's face to no face. And I am not behind a face here, separate from you. I'm wide open, spacious. And if I have a face now, it's your face. When I look at someone else, I'm space for you. Now, this is a non-verbal experience. And I can't imagine how anyone could not be in the same condition. You can't see your head. I'm going to take you through a number of other experiments just to look at it from different angles. But it's, yes, we will do that. Yeah. So, any questions at the moment? Okay, so here's another thought. When I'm aware of this open space, my hands disappear. I think you understand what I'm talking about now. Some people say, well, so what? I can't see my head, you see, so what? So what is not in dispute? Entered the waiting room. You've got someone in the waiting room there. Do I admit? Admit, there you are. I did it. Adrian, okay. So from the outside, this is really, you see, it's taking a pause. It just pausing for this hour. Say we've got an hour together, whatever. What I'm hoping you're doing is just pausing for this hour. You've put aside your busy day. You've got probably lots of things to do, and you fitted in this hour. And this hour, for me, I suggest for you, is a time just to stop. Stop being, involved with making dinner or fixing the car or whatever it is, and just stop and consider something that, and that is, what are you? What are you? And why this is important, I say, is that if you are trying to fix something with a tool, and say you're trying to hammer in a nail, but you've got a saw, you've got the wrong tool, and you're going to make a mess of it. So what I'm saying is, if you are mistaken about who you are, then you are attempting to cope with your life with an unsuitable tool. So this hour is really taking a fresh look at the tool for living, that what you are, what are you? And the question is, I mean, it's been asked for thousands of years. The question is, as I put it, are you small and separate and limited, and hugely limited, therefore, in your resources, and up against the world and separate from others and lonely and mortal? Is that what you are? Oh, I've got something appearing there. Is that what you are? Or, as the great mystics say, you are, amazing as it sounds, you are boundless, you are spacious, you are immortal, your resources are infinite, you are ceaselessly creative, as who you really are. See, that's what they say. Now, what the Headless Way is doing is saying, well, look, we are going to check this out and see whether you, for yourself, are limited. Because we can see from the outside you're limited. You can see I'm limited. See, and I was born and will die. But the mystics distinguish, I say, the mystics distinguish between your appearance, your human self, the one you see in the mirror, the one everyone else sees, the one that you take responsibility for being in society. I distinguish between that one, which is so obviously limited, and this one, which is not, I say, is not. And if you take your finger again and point back at the place you're looking out of now, you see, this is the question: are you limited or are you unlimited? And it's not about believing, it's not about, believing, it's about looking for yourself. And when I point back, I don't see Richard here. I don't see a limited appearance here. I don't see anything here. And I take that seriously. That's what all the great mystics are saying, is to just look. Don't think about it. Don't believe it. Look for yourself. Look to see what it's like to be you. It's as simple as that. It's not something that you have to learn. It's something that involves actually taking the opportunity and having the independence of mind to put aside what everyone tells you about who you are. Because everyone sees you to be the one in the mirror, the one in the photograph, the one walking down the street, limited. Now, let me put this in context. When you were a baby, you were headless. You had no idea who you were. Pre-verbal, you see. Look in the mirror, and it's not you yet. And you've no idea who you are. In my terms, you're headless, you're spacious, you're empty, you're invisible, you're clear. But you don't know that because you don't have language and you don't know anything else. Now, what growing up is about is, in imagination, going out and turning around and seeing yourself through the eyes of others, and through language, learning who you are in the eyes of others, and looking in the mirror and understanding that's how others see you. And when you're a child, you're learning to put your face on. You can never see your face. You never, ever see it. I've never, ever seen my face here. but everyone else sees it. So in order to understand who I am in society, I have to accept that face, accept that shape, accept that name, accept that nationality, and act as if I'm behind a face that I can't see, you see. And this is very important to do, because otherwise you can't function. You don't know who you are. As a baby, you don't know who you are, but you can't function as a baby. I mean, you can't, obviously, for lots of reasons. But one of the reasons is you've no idea who you are. So growing up is finding out who you are. You don't get a choice. You don't get a choice. You can't choose who you are. You look in the mirror and that's who you are for this life. And that's who you are, others tell you are. So growing up is learning to put that appearance on, that face, and act as if you're behind a face that you can't see, you see. And by the time I was an adult, by the time you were adults, you totally believe in this. You totally believe what society says you are, see, and you have to. You have to believe it so deeply that when someone says your name, you don't go, is that me? It's automatic. When you look in the mirror, it's automatic. It was not automatic when you were an infant. You went through months, if not years, of training to learn to put that face on, you see. Now when you look in the mirror, it's automatic. You say, that's me. But it was not automatic before. But what I'm saying is that by the time you're an adult, we're all adults, you profoundly believe you are what you look like. Now, don't stop there. That is developmental. You start off headless, in my terms. As a child, you learning to put your head on, but often forgetting, carefree, you see. That second stage. Third stage, you're adult, totally believe you're behind a face here, you're face to face, you're what you see in the mirror, you are what everyone tells you you are. That's the third stage. But don't stop there. Now that you have deeply understood who you are in society, your social identity, you see, now take a fresh look at what you are from your point of view. This does not invalidate what others say you are. It places it. I am Richard for you. I'm Richard over there in the mirror. I'm Richard in the camera, you see. I'm Richard in my thoughts. But when I look here, I don't see Richard. Now, it takes a certain independence to stand up for yourself and say, I am not what you say I am. I am what you say I am there, but here I'm not. You see, and my hands disappear into open space. And society says, no, they don't, Richard. They're just going past your head. I say, that is, you see, what I am depends on where the observer is. It's relativity. And at 6 feet, I'm Richard. My hands go past my head. I understand that because I'm, as it were, out there looking back at myself through the eyes of others. But now let me take the opportunity to look at myself from my point of view. And no one can tell you what you are from your point of view except you. And we've been talked out. I mean, it's so traditional. We've been talked out of our true nature, talked out of it. You see, we've always been this spaciousness, this boundless awareness, timeless space. I've always been this, but I forgot, or I was talked out of it rather. And what I'm doing now, attention, meditation, is not only just attending to what I see there, but having a look at what I'm looking out of. Now here, I mean, it gets down to very simple things. For example, how many eyes are you looking out of? Society says you're looking at 2 eyes. You're looking at 2 eyes because you've got 2 eyes in your face, and your face is, you know, you're part of your head, and that's on your body. You're a thing. See, you're a thing. Great mystics say, you're not a thing. I mean, it's just radical. It's not you're a thing, but you're a different kind of thing from what everyone says. You're not a thing. You're a thing for others, but for yourself, your true nature, your real nature, your original nature is not a thing. Now, I don't believe that. I test it. Now, society says, I'm a thing, you're looking at two eyes. Take your hands like this. This is one of these little experiments. Make two holes like glasses, you see? And you see two holes there with a dividing line. This is a test. Now put them on and see what happens to the dividing line. Well, it disappears and the two become one, you see? And then I say, I'm looking at one opening here, one eye, or it's not an eye. See, the two become one. Society quickly rushes in and says, oh, you've got two eyes, you just can't see it. I say, I have for you, but I don't for me. It's relativity. What I am depends on where the observer is. And the observer at 6 feet sees two eyes, but the observer at 0, which is me, sees no eyes. And Jesus said, if your eye is single, your whole body will be filled with light. My eye is single, call it an eye. My eye is single. Or it's my third eye. I've got two eyes on the screen, third one here, which is boundless. See, wide, wide, wide. I'm not a thing. So I don't believe what the mystics say. I look for myself. I test it, you see. Do it with these simple experiments. Society, as I said, says I'm face to face with everyone. When you were a baby and you looked at your mum, you didn't think of your own face at the same time because you weren't out there looking back. You were just wide open for your mum. There's no separation. And you look at your a flower and you're just space for the flower, you see. But as you grow up, you learn to see yourself from the outside, and now you're separate from the flower and separate from your mum. You need to know that. But it's only half the story. It's the outside story. It's your appearance of what you look like. The other side is the inside story. When I look at someone, I'm not face to face from my point of view. It's face to no face. I'm built open. This is a game changer, total game changer in terms of relationship. If you look at two people on the screen, or you and someone else on the screen, you see it's face to face. You see that there's a distance between those heads. I mean, separate. But now you look at just directly at one person. I say, I only see their face. It's face to no face. I'm built open. I take that seriously. It's wonderful. It's beautiful. It's intimate. It's true. It's safe. It's a game changer, total game changer. And I think, you see, it's so obvious. People say, oh, that can't be it. That can't be enlightenment. That can't be what the mystics are talking about. And the mystics say, it's so simple. It's too simple, you see. Oh, we've got someone else. I admit them. There you are. I share this, I've been doing this for 50 years. So I've seen a lot of people. I've talked to a lot of people. And, every so often you'll get someone, oh my God, I came across this 10 years ago and I thought that's just ridiculous. That's too simple. But finally, I've realized, thank God it's so simple. Because otherwise, what's it worth? I don't know. All right, so are we all right? Are we doing okay here? I'm in the business of pure simplicity. I'm in the business of childlikeness. I'm in the business of looking rather than thinking. I mean, thinking, you have to think, you have to talk. But the essential experience of your true nature is non-verbal, simple. Therefore, for everyone. This is not for a special few. Nobody can see their own head above their own body. It's a universal experience. The difference is whether it means something to you or not, or whether you continue with it, Well, my job is to, first of all, point it out. And secondly, to suggest, what it might mean, face to no face, see. Or, you see, when you're driving, when you're driving, say, from the outside, you're going along the street. You're traveling in a car or your plane, you see, if you're in a plane. But from the inside, you're still and the scenery moves through you. There's the outside and the inside. It's that simple. From the inside, you never moved an inch. It's outrageous. because you don't move. The scenery moves through you. I say it moves through me. Now, if you kind of start to be aware of that and take that in, gradually it sinks into you. Oh my God, I've never moved. You find the stillness at the heart of the hurricane, you know, at the heart of life. There's this stillness because this space is still. If you take your finger and point out again, and point back with the other one, so you've got two-way pointing, right? We call it two-way pointing. So one finger's pointing out at the screen, maybe, the other finger's pointing in at nothing. But there's no dividing line between the something and the nothing, between your true nature and what's in it. Two-way. Now close your eyes, you see. Now close your eyes. So the question is, who are you? What are you? The mystics say this is the essential question, because you live from what you think you are or what you are. So you better get the subject right. You better get you right. Are you small or are you unlimited? So on present evidence, how big are you? Not going by memory, not going by what you've been told. I can't say. Now open your eyes, you see. I'll give you a little guided meditation here. So there's three aspects of it. And I'm going to ask you to notice three aspects about the visual field, and then we will apply that to the non-visual. You're getting the full Monty now. You're getting the works now. So I want you to look at any object in front of you and notice it's got a boundary. I'm looking at a TV screen. It's got a boundary. I'm going to call that a hard edge. And there's something all the way around that boundary. It's within an environment. It's surrounded by other things. Now I want you to be aware of the whole field of view, being wide-eyed or panoramic or soft eyes. You see, the whole field of view. And notice that whatever you're looking at is in the center of the field of view. You look at one thing, it's right bang in the middle. You look at something else, now that's bang in the middle. See? But, and that whatever you're looking at in the center of the field of vision is most in focus. But as you're looking at it, be aware of the whole field of vision. So all the way to the periphery. And you can't look directly at the periphery, it's just peripheral. But notice how it fades out all the way around. It kind of blurs and fades out. Now, it's a strange edge that the object you might be looking at has a hard edge and it's surrounded by other things. But looking at the whole field of vision, it's a soft edge, and I find it's not surrounded by anything. There's nothing above it, nothing below it, nothing to the left, nothing to the right. See, on just as it's given. So this is a non-verbal experience. The whole field of view is floating in the middle of nothing. So I'm just using words to describe this non-verbal experience. I'm convinced you've got essentially the same experience as me, that it fades out all the way around. But you may use different words. So we don't need to get attached to any particular form of words. So that frees me to use words because I'm not reliant on them. It's a non-verbal experience. So the whole field of view is not contained. It's not inside anything. No one ever talks about this. No one ever, in my experience, draws my attention to the whole field of view to notice that it fades out into nothing, or consciousness, or awareness, or space. These are words for this nothingness or this space. So that's the first thing, that the field of view, unlike everything inside, the field of view is contained within the view. The whole view is not contained. That's the first thing. Second thing, look at two objects and compare their size. And probably one is bigger than the other. And look at any two objects and compare their size. It's relative. So one is bigger or smaller than the other, or maybe about the same size. But you can compare the size of any two objects within the view. Now, be aware of the whole field of view and ask yourself, how big is it? Well, there is not a second to compare it with. It is single. It's what Jesus called your single eye. It's single field. So I can't say how big it is in terms of saying it's bigger or smaller. I mean, how wide is it? It's just wide. And I sometimes say that, well, if you ask me how wide is the view, at the moment it's as wide as my front room. But if I go out at night, it's as wide as the heavens. It's just wide, wide. All right, so it's not inside anything, and I can't say how big it is. Third thing is, where is it? How far away is it? So you look at two objects again, and you can estimate a distance between those two objects. I mean, it's really going back to basics, isn't it? I'm not asking you to understand anything, really. I'm asking you to look like a child would look, you see. Now, you can estimate the distance between any two objects. But now I'm going to ask you, how far away from you is the whole view? Well, anywhere you measure from is within the view. There's nowhere to measure from. It's kind of all here or there. All right. So how does this, apply to the question, what are you? This supremely interesting question. What are you? If that is not a question that doesn't fire your curiosity, what are you? Well, then it doesn't. It does me. Because you're alive. You've been born. You are alive. What a precious treasure to be alive. You have to say, I mean, how incredible. You might not have been alive, or you might, been alive 100 years ago and be dead now, but you're alive now. And now is your opportunity to ask, who is alive? And society will have one answer, good, but what is your answer? And that means not going by what society says you are, but looking for yourself. Now, you close your eyes. Let's say we try and approach this question with eyes closed, you see. Well, how big are you? See, are you small or are you boundless? So let's look at it a bit like what we were thinking about with the field of view. Be aware of the darkness. And I could even say I'm sort of looking at the darkness. I'm aware of the darkness. And it's not a uniform darkness. See? Now, does it have a clear boundary, a hard edge with things on the other side? Or does it fade out like the field of view did, field of vision, into nothing? See, I say it just fades out. There's nothing around it, nothing above it. It's not inside something that I can actually perceive. It's just floating just there, but not contained. Now, how big is that darkness? Well, there's not a second to compare it with. It's single. It's like, how wide is it? Well, it's just, I don't know, can't say. And where is it? How far away is it? Well, I have no idea. It's floating in the middle of nothing. It has no address. All right. So now we apply that to the other senses, and you'll see where I'm going with this, I hope, in a minute. So be aware of sounds. And I'm going to call all the sounds you can hear the field of sound, like the field of vision. Field of sound, full of loud and soft sounds and high and low sounds and my voice, you see? Now, how big is the whole field of sound? Well, there is not a second one to compare it with. It's single. Does it have a clear boundary? Is it inside some kind of chamber or room or box or head? No. All the sounds appear in what I call silence, like the darkness is in the space. The sounds are coming out of silence and going back in. So I am using words to describe this non-verbal experience. I'm hoping you're exploring with me what your experience is, you see. And I say that the sounds come out of silence. Therefore, the silence is creative, fertile, productive. I don't find actually any divisions between inside and outside. So say you hear Richard's voice and you say that's outside, and then you perhaps have tinnitus or kind of ringing in the ears, and you say that's inside. But where's the boundary between my voice and your tinnitus or your what the sound you call it? I find no boundary. It's all given here, you see, without being divided up in a way. Now, so we've looked at the field of darkness and the field of sound, which both seem to be happening in this boundless awareness, which I say is your true nature. Now be aware of body sensations. Now, society tells you, if you pay attention to your right hand, you see that you can't see your hand, you've just got sensations, but you've got an image for your hand. You've learned that. That's really useful because I've been able to direct your attention to that sensation. But imagine you're a baby to help you put aside what you've learned. And you've not opened your eyes yet. You've got no language. You've never looked in a mirror. And you pay attention to what you call now your right hand. As a baby, I say, well, that isn't a hand yet. It's just a sensation in awareness, you see. And it doesn't seem to have a clear shape. Be aware of what you call your whole body, the whole field of sensation, see, which we identify very easily with, I say. Now, I can direct your attention to the sensation of your whole body because you've got an image for your body and you apply that to the sensation. But put aside the image if you can. So imagine you're a baby, not yet opened your eyes, newborn, you see, and attend to your sensations. And are they body shaped? Are they body sized? See, do they have an age? Aren't they just sensations appearing in the nothing? Do the field of sensation have a clear boundary? I say no, it fades out to nothing. How big is the field of sensation? There's not a second to compare it with. And then if you attend to your thoughts and feelings, and your ongoing commentary probably, or your reactions or daydreams or memories, or call that the field of mind. See? How big is the field of mind? So all those thoughts and feelings, well, there is not a second to compare it with. It's single. See? Does it have a boundary? Does your mind have a boundary? I find no boundary, no clear edge, just kind of fades out. But like the sounds coming out of the nothing, the thoughts come out of no mind, as the Buddhists say. So think of a number. Where did it come from? See, straight out of that nothing, mysterious nothing. Imagine a waterfall. How do you do that? You see, it's magical. I certainly don't know how I manage to imagine a waterfall, just like that. See? That is the power of the no mind, the magical creative nature of the no mind. Just ceaselessly creative, fertile. That's your true nature. Your true nature is effortlessly creative. So, this is really looking into what you are. Are you something that's small and limited and separate and divided off from the rest of the world? Or are you the space in which everything is happening? And I say, for me, for others, I'm a limited thing, but for me now, I am this boundless space in which Richard's voice is occurring and sensations are happening and memories are happening and the darkness is all going on in this mysterious nothingness, space, awareness, light. And I'm convinced you're in the same blessed condition. What is arising in the nothingness where you are is different from what's arising where I am. Strange. See, wonderful. But I say this is where we come together, because this nothingness, to put a name on it, you see, has no characteristics, has no name, has no shape, no nationality, no gender. There's nothing there or here to separate us. See? And I say that this is the key, the key to a good life. Because open your eyes now, you see. And I say nothing has changed, essentially. Now, instead of the darkness, I've got the field of view of my room, but it's floating in nothing. It's given to this boundless space. I'm not a separate thing here up against the world. I am open for it, built open for you, built open for everything. And this space isn't a dead space. It's creative, fertile, endlessly. It was not born, won't die, has got no age or, date on it. And I can only speak from my heart and say that this is just absolutely wonderful to be aware of this. It's not always wonderful. It's sometimes just plain, it's just a fact, but it's always true. I never see my head. So it's not a complicated thing. It's just look for your head now. Look for your head, look for your eyes, look for your teeth, I am in my front room. I see the far wall. Well, it's got windows, 2 big windows. I see the wall on my left coming back. I see the wall on my right. I see the ceiling and the floor, but I do not see the 4th wall. See? And instead of the 4th wall, the room opens out like a mouth into vast openness. So I say, I am not in the room is in me. Freedom. Freedom. Because I'm not a thing surrounded by 4 walls. For me, for others I am. So I distinguish between my appearance, which is not free, which is limited, which was mortal. I distinguish between my appearance and my reality, which is unbounded and contains everything. See? And this is always accessible. No matter your mood or your circumstance, you can always notice you can't see your head. See? Yeah. Telling it like it is. Any questions?
It's great, Richard. It's a lot to take in. And I've done it before, and the guided meditation was fantastic because in that instant I suddenly thought, well, hang on a minute, what if it is in me and I'm not in it? But just having that question changes everything. I mean, just even considering that possibility changes everything.
Total game changer. Total game changer.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, and people like the Buddha and Jesus and Eckhart and Rumi, they weren't saying enlightenment is slightly changing your life. It's just adjusting a few things here and there. They were saying, no, it's a total game changer. It's absolutely outrageous. And that's why, I mean, they never stopped talking about it because it just always fresh and a game changer. And you never get used to this. It's attention. It's not something you learn. You learn about it. And you learn, for example, it's always available. And you learn it by testing and looking. You look again, can't see my head, always available. You learn, it gradually sinks in. Let me put it like that. It gradually sinks in. It's just true. It's not something that you achieve or maintain. I mean, that is the grace and the beauty of it. It's just true. Whatever is happening in your life or whatever you've done or not done, it's just true. That sinks in. That's very freeing. It is just true. So not dependent on how much mindfulness you're doing or good deeds or anything. It sinks in that it's true for everyone. It's not a hierarchical thing. No one can see their own head. In other words, no one is looking out of a thing. Everyone is looking out of this boundless nothing. They're just, they may not be aware of it, but that doesn't change the fact. And if you check it up, say, can you see your head? You know, who would say, yeah, of course I can? Everyone says, no, I can't. It is the simplest thing, the most obvious thing, deceptively simple and available and obvious. You know, no wonder people say, so what? I can't see my head. You know, because society says to you, the fact you cannot see your head is irrelevant. It has no meaning at all. It's just a childish thing, you know, just grow up, you see. Well, you've grown up and you've taken on board that you have a head, you see. Well, now we're distinguishing between the fact that you've got a head for others, but you don't for yourself. You see, and this changes everything. And it's common sense because, I mean, what you are changes with the range of the observer. That sounds complicated, but it's not. At 6 feet, you've got a head. At a fraction of an inch, you're a patch of skin. Now, which is right? They're both right. But one isn't truer, you know, truer than the other. It's not that you've really got a head and you're not really a patch of skin. You're both. But you're also a cell. You're also even closer a molecule. Even closer, you're an atom. I mean, you've left your head behind a long time back, you know. And this is coming all the way to the center and saying you're nothing at all except room for everything. And you're awake. You see, so it makes sense in terms of science. Always available, simple, incredibly practical for your relationships, for my relationships, to be face to no face, to be space for the other rather than this. Does it mean that you then get on with everyone like a house on fire? No, people are difficult, you're difficult. But you now have a key that gives you a kind of freedom and a space and a stillness in your relationships that is always available, that you can draw on if you choose. You've got to draw on it. You've got to use it. People say, well, I tried Headless Nose. It didn't do anything for me. How long did you try it for? You know? If you're not doing it now, you're not trying it, you know? And you've got to be patient. You've got it. My images, it's like taking a shot of vodka. I don't drink vodka, but it's like taking a shot of vodka, which is clear, transparent, and apparently doesn't have taste. I don't know. You take a shot and you go, well, that didn't do anything. I say, wait. You see, you know, I'm aware of my true nature. I can't see my head, but it doesn't do anything for me. Be patient. See, be patient.
I have a question.
Yes.
How long have you been studying this? I think you said 50 years. How did you come across it, and what was it like when you first started?
Well, I was a teenager. I'm 71 now. And so it's more than 50 years ago. And however, I was really interested in finding out who I really was. I may not have put it quite like that, but I was consciously looking. And by chance, I joined a little workshop with Douglas Harding, who wrote On Having No Head in 1970, and did the pointing, that kind of thing, and saw it and recognized it. So I recognized it. And Douglas said, if you're interested in this, come and visit. He had an open house for people interested in this. So I went, and I used to go a lot. I made friends with him and all his friends because lots of people used to be there. So I, as it were, joined an informal community of friends who were all valuing this. So that really supported me. And all my years, I have hung out and made friends with people who value this. So I am in loose-knit community of hundreds and hundreds of people who value this, and that's really supportive, and that has helped me enormously because you learn from each other, and it's infectious. Now, I think that, I mean, certainly being aware of my headlessness has not meant that I haven't suffered or I haven't had problems, all the normal problems I have, but I've had this resource to help me cope with that, which has just been fantastic. The sharing with friends who understand, who value this is just fantastic, fantastic. So it's such a mysterious, wonderful thing to share. I think that I would not really make any particular claims about how it has affected me as a person. You know, you talk to my close friends and they go, oh, it's just as bad as he always was, right? But what I can say is that the truth and the reality, I'd say the beauty of my true nature gradually sinks in ever deeper. So I'm not making a claim about Richard. I'm just saying that the fantastic nature of my true nature gradually, ever more deeply dawns on me. I think it will forever. That I've found something that is just astonishing, astonishing. And it's my true nature, and it's your true nature, you know, and it's always available. So I think as that settles in, gradually settles in, then you get a deepening sense of confidence, a deepening sense of peace, a deepening sense of stillness, a deepening sense of beauty, a deepening sense of creativity, the creativity of your true nature, the beauty of your true nature, the confidence of your true nature, the total stability of your true nature is something to be, you know, it's true, it's true. So that obviously kind of spreads out into your life, doesn't it? You know, into your relationships. But it's not a personal thing in a way. It's you turning around and acknowledging who you really are. And this is the age-old story that the one divided into many and forgot it was the one and became one of the many. And then every so often wakes up to being the one again. That's what the Headless Way is. It's the one awakening to being the one. If you want, you put it in different terms. So my role here is a messenger, and to alert you to the fact you cannot see your head, and to declare that this is the gate into your true nature. And I hope you take it, and that's totally up to you. If you acknowledge that this is a gate, a gateless gate into your true nature, I promise you, if you live from this, you will not regret it, and you will be blessed. Yeah. How am I doing as in terms of advertising this? Am I selling it?
Adriana?
You're not selling it. I have experienced it so often what you actually talked about, and it had been years to realize that there was always realization actually. But we have human nature, and of course human nature lets me forget sometimes. And I know that I think that I know for all of those that have experience and have cultivated actually there of course we have these stumble stones. And for me, for example, it's I have to have enough sleep in order like not to forget that all of that what you're just talking about. And that's like my condition of body. I need like my sleep, for example. Otherwise I'll be a bitchy, mean person. You know, that's just the way how it is. Yes. And I think that makes me human. And I just talked to my then teacher here in Cologne, where I live in Germany, said, well, we had our summer festival today actually, and I just came back. That's why I was late. And I was saying, well, it's useless to try to change myself. It's or anybody else. Just see who you are and be with what there is, and really accept it, and even accept the fact that you cannot do everything. I'm not Superwoman. I'm not Spider-Woman or whatever. I'm just Adriana, and I think that helps me a lot to, especially like how can I say, it helps me like to be who I am. And I always say you can't integrate Zen into your everyday life. You have to experience Zen every moment when you're off the cushion as well. Not only when you're on the cushion, but also like when you leave the cushion. And to actually discover that it has always been there, that is like the wow effect. That's what I can. Yeah. Well, so thank you so much, Richard. You live in London, is that right?
I do, yes.
You do. Okay. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Or as I might say, London lives in me.
Yeah. Hello. Everything lives in me. Yeah. I just love to listen to your accent, to your English accent. Yeah.
Wonderful.
Yeah,
Any other contributions? Yes.
Mark?
Would you like to say something about the person who inspired you, whom you met those several years ago, and his way of arriving to those concepts? Or
okay, well, Douglas Harding, he was born in 1909, and he was brought up in a very strict Christian sect, and very narrow but very deep. And at 21 he left. He couldn't stand the narrowness and the fundamentalism, but he had been deeply inspired by something in it, there's something genuine in it, but genuine and true within that, but it was very restricted. So he left. But he had this curiosity about life and this feeling of the depth that was possible, but he couldn't accept this Christian formulation, you see. So then he started questioning for himself what he was, what is life. And the first thing this was back in 1930, the first thing really that happened was he realized that he was made of cells. So it's a philosophical kind of thing. So in other words, he as a person, at a closer range, was millions and millions of little animals, right? Then, if he viewed himself from further away, he disappeared into society. He was like a cell within the body of society. So he then realized he got layers which were dependent on the range of the observer, you see. So once you realize you've got layers, you've crossed that boundary between the self and the not self. So where do you stop? If you go in, you get to molecules, you get to atoms, you get almost to nothing. And if you go out, you get life, you get the planet, the star, the galaxy, you see, and you need every one of these layers to function. You can't function just as a human being. It's all one living system. So he understood that. He was like an onion with layers. The question was, what is at the center of all these layers? It's an obvious question. What is at the center, you see? And one day, instead of trying to just think about it, because if you think about it, it makes sense it be nothing at the center, but the idea of it being nothing is an idea. He wanted to verify what the center was. He didn't want to speculate. And one day he looked, instead of thinking, he saw his body was headless. He disappeared back into nothing. He was looking out of the nothing. It wasn't an idea anymore. He was looking out. So this was in 1943. He saw he was headless. He saw the center of all these layers, you see. He then spent 8 years writing a book, Hierarchy of Heaven and Earth. It's a very great book, to make sense of this in terms of modern science and tradition. He did it. It's a wonderful book. Because when you see this, it answers some questions, but it raises a lot of questions about how this actually makes sense. So it makes sense in terms of the layers of the onion. It makes sense of developmentally. You're a baby, a child, adult, seer, you see. And then in the late 60s and early 70s, when I met him, he developed these experiments I've taken you through for testing this idea, that this hypothesis, you're not what you look like, you see, for getting people to actually look for themselves using all the senses. And the experiments made the awareness of our true nature easy to share, you see. And so he spent the rest of his life, he was an architect by trade, but he retired and then spent all of his time writing about this and sharing it through the experiments. I met him. I became involved with all of that. I thought that's a brilliant way of communicating this age-old truth, you see. So I'm still doing that, very much so. He died 15 years ago or something like that. Yeah. He's written a lot of books. On Having No Head is one of them. Yeah. Yeah.
There's,
Well, any other
there's
questions?
one thing I can actually say about this experience, because I had that experience when I was about 13 and a half years old. And I thought, I better do not tell anybody, because they may send me into a lunatic asylum. And when I started sitting again, which was like 9 or 10 years later, I remembered actually, but I didn't know that this was actually the experience, because I was completely like dividing it from any other, because you cannot really rationalize it. And Douglas Harding was older, like he was like 17. And it's a very typical experience actually, because the brain cells rearrange in puberty. And a lot of people do not really experience this consciously. And those who are using drugs do not make that experience actually, because they are actually destroying exactly those brain cells that make you actually experience this. That's the interesting part here. Yeah. I'm very grateful that I actually had the chance today. Thank you, Anna, for reminding me all the time. Thank you so much, because today was a full day. Yesterday was a full day. I'm having a full week. And here I go. I'm a little late and I almost fall asleep, but I was listening to it and I said, oh, wow, that's amazing. Somebody is explaining my experience. Yes, and the onion is empty. And I think a lot of people with trauma cannot cope with the fact that there is nothingness.
Let me just add a bit to that,
Yeah, thank you.
Yes, thank you. Just to say, because we're probably coming to an end, I don't know how long, but we've been going an hour, but probably coming to an end. Just to say something that I've said a lot of positive things about this experience, but let me just say that the actual experience, in a certain sense, is neutral. I mean, it's also profoundly positive. But if tomorrow you wake up and you think, what was that about? I can't see my head, but that doesn't feel like anything. This is fine. This is normal. It does not necessarily feel like anything. It's just an observation, but it's like the vodka. Stay with that neutrality of just seeing, you can't see your head, instead you see the world. Meditate with it, see, relax into it, and it will give you what you need. And the other thing is, I'll just put it in the chat actually, that if you want to connect up with the kind of headless community online, then we have lots of Zoom meetings free, and I've just put the link in the chat. So you're very warmly welcome to drop in and join us. But just to say that it is quite normal with this experience for the results to go in waves. So you might get insight flowing from this or positive reaction, and then it goes. And when it goes, when that realization or meaning goes, I say to you, don't think that you've lost it. You can't see your head, but this is normal. Meaning comes and goes. And for you to go deeper in terms of understanding and realization, it is necessary for every so often you to lose all meaning. This is natural, that you've got to kind of clear the deck for something new to come. So when you find yourself just being empty and no particular feeling, you're doing it right. You're not doing it wrong. There's nothing to maintain. And as you go on with this, you will learn, I think, gradually to trust it and trust what it is and trust what it gives you, even if you don't quite understand at the time. Yeah. Well, Anna, thank you for arranging this and getting these, friends together and allowing me the opportunity to share this with you all.
Richard, thank you so much. Danny, thank you so much for reaching out to Richard. This was
Thank you, Richard. Yeah.
phenomenal. I just loved it so much. The things that you can, I think a couple of people, Jeff, who's in Seattle, popped on a little late. Adriana popped on a little late. Maybe somebody else popped on a little late. It's recorded, so feel free to go back and watch the recording. But because at the beginning, Richard started out with these great. I mean, I'm going to use them in the classroom you could do this with kids, and it's not anything. It's not. It's just remembering what it was like being a baby. Before you were conditioned, like you said, when you were told, when people had to talk you into how you are. This was just lovely and brilliant. And, usually I think people, we usually go, I don't know, it seems people can chat for another, till about 12:30 or whatever. I don't know if what people's time frames are or what yours is, but maybe we can open it up and do a quick go around and prompt
Oh, I would
everybody,
love
because we
that.
haven't. Yeah. Danny, do you want to point at people and have them talk?
Love pointing at people. And thanks so
I
much, Richard.
know.
And Ray, Richard, maybe you could come back in a few months or something and see how we've been getting on. In the meantime, I'll try and come to a couple of your sessions in London. And
Yes.
I think it'd be lovely to keep this going somehow. So let me pick on, who haven't I picked on? Jeff, so are you?
Everybody, thanks for picking on me, Danny, and nice to see everyone. Yeah, thank you, Richard. That was a fun meditation and an interesting eye-opener way to look at things. So sorry to jump in late, but I will go back and look at the first part I missed, and yeah.
Thank you.
Richard Lang, you can keep picking that.
All right. Okay. All right. Well, just reactions, right? Responses. So, Kaya, you get unmuted there and
I did it. This fits so much with both my meditation today and what I was reading in The Way of Mastery, which talks about perhaps when you're headless. I love that word. You then allow everything. There's nothing unacceptable. He or she has a right to exist. That behavior or that action has a right to manifest. It's just being neutral and allowing what is and just being in the enthrallment of what is created all around us. So does that seem to fit with?
Oh, beautiful, beautiful. Yes, beautiful.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I'm going to use this.
Good. Thank you, Kaya. Richard.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, thank you, Richard, very much indeed. I need to work at it a bit. I find there's resistance that comes up, and I need to take it in my own time and re-listen to it and do it slowly. But I've experienced this in the class with him, looking through the things that they made cardboard things that you look through, and it takes a while for it to get in there for me, but it's very powerful. But thank you very much.
Wonderful. Thank you, Richard. Thank you. Per.
Yeah, well, I love the Headless Way, and especially the simplicity of it, and what you said about like becoming like a child, just look at your own experience. Yeah. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. Marek.
It's fantastic and wonderful to see how many ways people find to help themselves in life, and this is something new that I haven't met before. And I saw on the screen a while ago Seymour at Anna's place, the cat. And we have here, so like for me, I started to say about different ways that people find to go on with life. So like for me, the inspiration and the masters are cats. So if I don't know anything, I would say, what would your cat say to this question? And so not sure if it applies to cats as well. This concept of yours, but I'll be thinking about it. Thank you for being with us and for sharing this.
Okay, thank you, Marek. Rick. Yes.
All right. Well, I'm kind of thinking of it like I lost my head, I guess, when I feel an immense amount of pain or something, you know. Like I don't know. Is that the same thing? I just was out of my body, you know, kind of. Is that similar? I don't know.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Edie?
Oh, I just want to say thank you so much, because I learned so much from your talk. And I just remember, like, about 21 years ago, my Zen master gave me a koan and he said, "Who are you?" And I said my name and he started laughing. And I'm one of those people that just one of those students that the koans never really worked for me because I didn't try hard enough. Like, and so I feel like today I just feel like I made some kind of advancement, like through your exercises and I'm really excited about it. So thank you for that. And then one more thing I'd like to share. When you said we were all at one point babies and just didn't have that, that conditioning, like Anna said, my mom shares a story of me of when she first looked into my eyes in the hospital, and she just felt this like deep connection to me. And when you said there was no separation between the mother and the child, the baby, I remembered that story that my mom told me, and it just brought back such a feeling of connectedness from her sharing that with me and from hearing you speak about that today. So thank you for that.
That's wonderful. Thank you, Petey. Thank you. Adriana?
Yeah, as I say, I came late, but what the exercise you were doing was happening to me. And I was laying down there. By the way, I was laying down in my bed. I was looking at the ceiling. I mean, I remember this so much, like it's still alive in me. Couldn't cope with it because I didn't know what it is. And it would have been helpful to have met Douglas Harding the day it happened, I don't know if I would have understood because I was like 13 years old. But the experience to feel, I mean, that is such an experience to feel how you dissolve, And at night when I go to sleep, I actually lay on my back exactly the same way how I did, like when I like 50 years ago, because I'm now 63. And what I do is actually a body scan, but it's not a body scan of John Kabat-Zinn. I already did it before I knew even John Kabat-Zinn. I have this imagination, something is doing this over me like a pendulum. And I have that travel from my feet to my head. Either I fall asleep, I don't. But the interesting thing is my Zen practice also helped me to develop, it's called lucid dreaming.
Yes.
Yeah. And I think this is, it's so cool, like to be able like to I mean, like within the dream, I say, oh yeah, yes, I did that today. And that's why it's now coming into my dream. It doesn't make sense, doesn't matter, but okay, it's being worked at. And I think that's very interesting because you were talking about the pre-verbal,
Yes.
the non-verbal, but we have the pre-verbal time as a child. And there it is more like a koan, for example. Yeah, I love koans. If somebody asks me, why do you cycle? That's all that's all, And I think that's the non-verbal thing and this non-head thing of just do it, as Glassman said, sorry. And also like this capability of being there and to do what needs to be done or what not needs to be done, like to really fit in. And that is only possible if you have this flexible body and mind. Let's say it this way.
Thank you.
Very grateful. Thank you so much, Anna. Thank you, Daniel. Thank you. Thank you all.
All right.
Yeah, great, cool.
All right. Alejandra?
And now it was difficult to unsilence myself. My English is not the best, so probably I want to say several things, but the most important thing that I felt was that I felt in a very deep meditation during the whole talk. So it was to experience the whole situation from another place different than my head, in my body, my heart, and very, very connected with the earth, like very grounded. And I really love the simplicity of the Headless Way. It's just very easy to put it in practice every day in the daily life. So thank you very, very much. And it's amazing to be able to talk with you and to have you like in front of me, and it's an honor. Thank you very much.
A pleasure. Thank you. Anna, have you anything to add? Or Daniel?
I want to echo what Daniel said, that it would be great to have you join us again. And thank you for the website so that we can join you too over in your space, but we'd love to have you back here
I'd love to
sometime in the
come.
future too and check in. This has been just amazing. And yeah, like what Alejandra just said, how easy this is to practice during the day. I'm going to be doing it. My husband will be asking me, what are you doing? And I'm going to tell him all about it too. It was so much fun. And yeah, what you were doing was,
Yeah.
so thank you.
If I may, I have a question for Richard. How it was the experience for you to meet us as a group, this hour that we spent together?
Oh, a pleasure, a pleasure. And you've all been very kind and patient and receptive and open. So I thank you for that. And always love meeting people and sharing this with people. So, you know, delightful. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Richard. Is it okay if we send your link out to our group so they've got
Yes.
the Zoom link to join if
Oh,
and,
yeah.
if and as and
Please
when?
do. Please
Great.
do.
Thank you.
Yeah. And
Big.
I mean, if I can have a copy of the recording, that'd be great. You know, if you feel comfortable with that, or yeah, okay. And Daniel, if you want to come to one of the meetings, you know, do you need more information about that? I could send you something, or
I think you said there's one this Saturday morning, so I'll try and come along to that in Stoke Newington.
yes, that's right.
What
Yes.
is it, 9 a.m. or so, 10 a.m.?
No. Let me. Shall I send you the information now in the chat?
Yes, whenever you like. And
Yeah, no, I'll do that now, and then I don't have to remember it.
and shall I give that to other people in the UK that might be able to
Yeah,
come
of
along?
course.
Okay, fantastic.
There it is. Yeah,
Okay, I'll just copy and paste because it'll disappear otherwise.
that's right. Yes, like we all will eventually.
The empty onions.
All right. Well, thank you,
Love it.
Anna. Thank you, everyone. A pleasure. And I will see you in the great void.
And we'll see you here again too, I hope sometime. Lots of love to all
Yeah.
of you.
Yeah. All right. Thank you.
Ciao, ciao.
Love you all. Ciao.
Thank you.